The 4x4 segment is slamming harder than a dunny door in a windstorm right now, as more and more buyers get fired up about the idea of a new car with the versatility of a Swiss Army knife and go-anywhere capability. Global sales of 4x4s have been steadily increasing over the last few decades, with popular models from the USA and Europe continuing to find favour, while China is getting in on the action in a big way as well.
And then there's this big and blocky Lexus GX Overtrail, the latest and greatest bush basher from Japan. And it's been engineered from the ground up to be a mud-plugging megastar, not just a luxury urban assault vehicle.
It's based on the same platform as the all-new Toyota Prado Land Cruiser 250 series and 300 series vehicles, and comes with chunky 33-inch all-terrain tyres, adaptive suspension, decoupling sway bars, a locking rear diff, loads of ground clearance, you name it.
So in this video, I'll test the engine, the running gear, I'll drive it on-road, I'll slam it off-road to try and figure out whether this vehicle is worth an extra 20 grand over the new top-spec Toyota Prado. Onwards. Right now, there are three different Lexus GX model grades in Australia, starting at $116,000 and rising to about $130,000. And they all come with one engine, a twin-turbo petrol V6. No diesel, I'm afraid.
This Overtrail model we're evaluating is the mid-spec version, and while these prices would have been eye-wateringly sour 10 years ago, I reckon it's reasonable value by today's standards.
Considering it's 20 grand cheaper than an up-spec Toyota Land Cruiser 300 series, that price is very appealing.
Like all Lexii, that's the plural of Lexus, right? The GX is covered by a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty and comes with the Lexus Encore after-sales program in Australia.
This saves you precious time and energy when it comes to servicing your car, because Lexus will come to you, drop off a loan car, and then return your car once it's serviced. So you're not schlepping around at the dealership, drinking coffee that tastes like dirt, waiting for the car to be finished. Although, come to think of it, I reckon Lexus dealership coffee is actually pretty good.
But it's not all handshakes and silver service, because unlike most modern cars that only require servicing once a year or sometimes once every 2 years, Lexus has set intervals at 6 months or 10,000 kilometres, which is, quite frankly, insulting.
But honestly, I doubt these things will be deal breakers because, well, look at it. It's a bona fide beast. That boxy, bluff design sitting on top of big 33-inch Toyo open country all-terrain tyres. Ho, ho, ho.
Mounted to 18-inch alloy rims, these mud-plugging tyres are 20mm wider than the city slicker versions of this Lexus and will deliver the single biggest off-road performance upgrade compared to its GX 550 siblings. But there's plenty of other stuff too. You get loads of ground clearance, extended plastic wheel arch mouldings to match the wider track, and they're designed to take hits before the metal bits do. You've got unique front and rear bumpers, roof rails, a roof spoiler, plus a locking rear diff, and Toyota's clever electronic kinetic dynamic suspension system. It's designed to improve wheel articulation off-road while enhancing body control and cornering on the road. Adaptive variable dampers are also part of the Overtrail's rock-hopping repertoire, hooked up to independent front and live rear axle suspension.
Take a gander under here and you'll see a full-size spare tyre and very clean undercarriage. Everything's tucked up nice and neat. There's no unseemly bits and pieces flopping out that might get snagged on rough terrain.
The GX Overtrail also gets two main bash plates, a wide one protecting the engine up front and a slimmer one for the fuel tank at the back.
However, because the spare wheel is underslung and not on the tailgate, a secondary fuel tank is off the menu. And unlike the new Prado, which gets a 115-litre fuel bladder, this bad boy only gets an 80-litre fuel tank, limiting range to around 650 kilometres, give or take. There's only one engine option available at the moment, but the 3.4-litre twin-turbo petrol V6 donk generates loads of power and torque, and it drives through a 10-speed automatic transmission, powering all four wheels all the time. It's an impressive setup because you get a Torsen limited slip center differential along with low range gearing via a 2-speed transfer case. In other words, it's designed for slow speed crawling and has more off-road drive modes and crawl settings than you can shake a pyroclastic explosion at. And here's the kicker, it'll tow a 3.5 tonne trailer without breaking a sweat, and has a powered up alternator to run more ancillary systems. Nice. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty special. There is supple leather absolutely everywhere. It's gorgeous. Plus there's heaps of space, all the mod cons, plenty of tech, and best of all, the overall cockpit design is clean. You're not assaulted by trillions of buttons and controls like some vehicles. Hello, Toyota Land Cruiser 300 series. I'm not a big fan of these complex interiors, but what do you reckon? Feel free to comment below, and if you've come this far in the video, like and subscribe while you're at it.
Lexus has designed some really comfy seats here. They're big and welcoming and upholstered with delightfully soft leather, and they feature 8-way power adjustment, or 10-way if you include lumbar adjust. They're heated and cooled too. The Overtrail model adds harder seat bases but softer side bolsters designed to improve body support on rough tracks, which is a nice touch. And the material quality is uniformly high across the cabin. It's a tactile treat wherever your hands touch down. And the power adjustable steering wheel is the icing on the cake. It's lovely.
Storage solutions are pretty good. You've got 2 medium-sized beverage holders here, spring-loaded. A medium-sized glove box with a medikit, that's always nice. A little shelf here for odds and sods, which is good because there's not a lot of incidental storage around here. But you do have a fridge, little cool box, which is very nice. Plus 2 USB-C ports, a 12-volt socket there. I like these grab handles, which will be a godsend for smaller occupants because they make getting in and out of the car much easier. However, the door pockets are pretty small and they do not fit the Mega Gulp. Disappointing. Get in there.
The neatly integrated 14-inch central touchscreen is an ultra-high definition display and has quick touch response, but certainly doesn't have the most intuitive menu system I've ever used. You do get used to it, but some features are tucked away in weird digital corners. Thankfully, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay work a treat, wired or wireless, with big, bold visuals that take up most of the screen. The surrounding control layout is excellent, with physical dials for the volume and temperature adjustments, buttons for defogging, and the finer climate controls are hard-coded into the screen as well. A wireless phone charger is also in there. The Lexus is jam-packed with all the latest infotainment tech you could want, including a ripper heads-up display, really good voice control, and very impressive GPS sat-nav.
The 12.3-inch digital driver's display looks fantastic. Very crisp graphics, high-res, easy to read, and plenty of customization, but to actually customize it requires a passing understanding of elastokinematics. It took me a while to figure out how to adjust all the different settings. Bring back the touchpad. Only joking, that thing was disastrous.
The reversing camera system delivers crisp and clear visuals, and while the default camera angles are adequate, the weird 3D modes that only work when stationary appear deliciously cryptic in a way that fans of Japanese culture will appreciate. It turns out they're super handy off-road, but more on that later in the video. While the Lexus GX did not have an ANCAP safety rating at the time of filming, it does have 9 airbags and all the latest autonomous driving systems.
There's plenty of room here in the back seats. I've got good leg room. I can shove my feet under the seats. Headroom is not bad. It would probably be worse if there was a full-length panoramic glass roof, but I like the fact that you still have just a regular small sunroof up the front. Leather quality is really nice, but this is the first time I'm sensing, well, the car's Toyota roots. The seats are a bit flat and utilitarian, and where's the TV screens and the jacuzzi? I mean, this is a Lexus, right? You do get reasonable amenity though. You've got a third climate control zone here where you can set your own temperature and fan speed, and the vents up here, much better positioned than down low. It's easier to get the temperature where you want it. I like that. You've also got twin USB-C ports, nice. Seat back pockets, extra Jesus handles in the back, which is always good, but there's no window blinds. That's a bit disappointing. Fold out armrest with cup holders, and also if you're like me and you've got kids, you've got the twin ISOFIX child seat anchorages and triple top tethers as well. You want versatility? You got it. You can flip up the glass at the touch of that button, and you've got easy access to the boot, whether you're throwing in groceries, snatch straps, off-road gear, whatever. Then the full tailgate is power operated and opens nice and high, which is good, easy for loading things. Plus the boot is wide and deep. It's impressively large. And I love this. You've got a 100 watt, 220 volt power point here, 3 LED lights, 4 tie down points. There's also air vents, 2 cup holders and USB-C ports to remind you that this vehicle was originally designed as a 7-seat SUV. However, the Overtrail model only comes as a 5-seater, and while that might narrow its appeal as a family vehicle, I actually think it's pretty cool because without those extra seats, you get a bigger boot space.
The back seats can be folded and tumbled, creating a massive cargo space, almost ute-like.
Well, so far so good. I am very impressed with this vehicle, but will its agricultural underpinnings and off-road tyres make it a dog on the road? Cue the driving music. Thankfully, it's good news. It feels more like a thoroughbred racehorse than a mangy mongrel. And that's because of the twin-turbo petrol V6 engine. It's got creamy smooth power delivery and throttle response is better than your average languid diesel as well. The SUV weighs around 2.5 tonnes, but the epic wave of torque that washes over all 4 wheels means you only really feel its gargantuan mass from standstill and at very low speeds. Drop the hammer on the open road and it absolutely honks. It accelerates with serious aggression. But at the same time, it can also be very docile at smaller throttle openings, and it's quite happy at lower speeds, you know, trundling around the burbs. Oddly though, the engine sounds better at part throttle than full throttle, emitting a lovely warbling thrum. But hey, it's nothing an aftermarket exhaust system wouldn't remedy. Well, the engine is an absolute rip snorter, no doubt about it, but how does she handle? Well, given this chassis is designed for off-roading, it's actually really quite controlled. The Japanese suspension engineers at Lexus deserve a pat on the back because the GX Overtrail maintains a flat attitude through corners and it doesn't feel ungainly or wallowy, especially in Sport Plus mode where the adaptive shock absorbers are firmed up. The steering is direct and responsive and it imparts the front end with confidence when cruising on country roads, but at the same token, this big Bertha also feels nimble and light-footed in town because of that really quick steering. The all-terrain Toyo tyres are surprisingly quiet and reasonably grippy on the road, but when it comes to ride comfort, I did notice some pitching and bounciness in the suspension. Rougher, poorly maintained roads can send jiggles through the ladder chassis as well, but overall, it's a fairly settled rig. Yeah, ride comfort is pretty good for the most part, the heavy Lexus sailing down most roads very smoothly and justifying that big L badge on its snout. Refinement levels are really impressive too, with excellent sound damping keeping wind noise and road noise to a minimum. And even when you rev the engine and it starts to make itself heard, it's such a sonorous and refined acoustic that you kind of want to keep doing it. Fuel efficiency out on the open road is very good. The diligent transmission slotting into 10th gear and settling at 1500 RPM at 100 kilometers an hour. And this can see fuel consumption sometimes drop below 10 litres per 100 kilometers. But if you're driving it around town, expect the figure to rise well beyond 15 litres per 100 kilometers. Visibility is very, very good. This large upright windscreen gives you a commanding view of the road, as does the high riding position and jacked up ride height. Plus, these large side mirrors add plenty of lateral peripheral vision. Even the rear windscreen, it's big, it's large, and the nominal rear pillars means you don't have huge blind spots. To sum up the on-road experience, I expected the Overtrail to be a big, blunt object with sloppy table manners, but it's actually a well-controlled machine in almost all scenarios. But the Lexus GX Overtrail was designed to take the path less travelled, so let's head bush. The Japanese rig has 5 off-road modes. Just hit the MTS or multi-terrain select traction control button, then cycle through the 5 settings. I'm going to try auto and see how it goes left to its own devices. Okay, first up we've got some moderate hill climbs and Well, this is just so easy. My nan could do this while making a video call and eating a curried egg sandwich. It is just walking its way up.
Let's try this track up here. It's more uneven and should test the vehicle's grip and 4x4 system, not to mention its ground clearance.
Again, easy as pie. And the V6 petrol engine is surprisingly good too. It's got loads of gristle low in the rev range, and I don't feel like I've got to wring its neck to maintain momentum.
The large windows also provide excellent vision down the sides of the vehicle, and there's also the multi-terrain monitor that shows exactly what the front wheels are kissing.
The EKDSS system that this Lexus inherits from Toyota is also really handy because it no longer mechanically links the front and rear anti-roll bars like the old hydraulic version. It's a more effective system and is a real boon. All right, so let's see how it fares with this evil wheel articulation obstacle that has thwarted many tough trucks in its time. We should have the ground clearance. You'll hear a crunch if we don't. I just don't have the grip, unfortunately. So we'll back it up. We'll slot it into low range, and then we'll lock the rear diff as well. What do you reckon? Neutral, low range, takes a while to kick in. That's cool. I've got all the off-road cameras load up when you go into 4 low. Let's hit the rear diff lock and we are good. Okay, take 2. Here we go. And, scrabbling for grip a little bit. There goes the diff. Come on, yes. Okay, that is impressive. There is definitely some heavy duty wheel articulation going on there. Wow, my heart's beating, it was exciting.
And I gotta say, the Toyo tyres deserve a lot of the credit here. Their deep tread pattern providing impressive purchase on challenging terrain and delivering the sort of off-road confidence to tackle difficult approaches and gnarly trails.
This is a potent off-roader. The real deal, a bona fide bombastic boulder blaster. And I reckon a few Toyota Land Cruiser GR Sport owners are gonna be a little bit envious of this bad boy.
The fact it's so polished and sophisticated on-road, yet still has very, very good off-road chops right out of the box, speaks volumes for the hard work Lexus engineers have put in. Is it worth the extra $20,000 over a top-spec new generation Toyota Prado? It's hard to say without a back-to-back comparison, but one thing's manifestly clear. This vehicle is supremely talented and has way more appeal than any Lexus SUV I've tested in years.
It's also smartly priced, and apart from that small fuel tank and those insulting maintenance costs, there's a lot to like here. I'm very, very impressed. Ironically, this vehicle's excellence is also its undoing, at least for the next couple of years, because even if you place an order right now, you'll be facing a wait of more than a year for the Lexus GX. That said, the wait is gonna be worth it. But what do you reckon? Is playing the waiting game for a fancy new car annoying, frustrating? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.